starting safety C.J. Gardner-Johnson each suffered potentially serious leg injuries today. Slater carted off the field with a left leg injury. Gardner-Johnson carted off with a right leg injury. No word yet on the severity of either injury. In Saturday's preseason opener, Jags rookie Travis Hunter will make his two-way debut. He'll play receiver and cornerback against the Steelers. Jags' other starters will play as well. That will not be the case for Pittsburgh, explains Coach Mike Tomlin.
I feel comfortable with what I've seen from those guys through this portion of the process that makes me comfortable in saying that they won't play this week. Next week may be different. We really respect the days that are this process, and I try not to make plans with broad strokes, but really kind of in more smaller increments.
So that means Aaron Rodgers' Pittsburgh debut will have to wait. Steelers defensive tackle Cam Hayward hasn't fully taken part in practice yet this summer as he awaits a restructured contract. The Jets will play quarterback Justin Fields as well as the rest of their starters against the Packers on Saturday night.
Hey, it's Michelle Smallman, and coming up Friday, what are our boldest predictions heading into this college football season? Will Arch Manning live up to the hype? We'll talk about it on Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
From Studio 2 at the worldwide headquarters of ESPN and the HD studio in Atlanta, Georgia, this is Freddie and Harry.
Donnie Don, what you got, my friend?
I heard Harry talk about Hal's. I also am a Hal's lover, brother. And I wanted to ask you, have you ever heard of this appetizer they got called Lobster LeBeau? The lobster tail that they cut up, slash fry.
Okay.
Then they top it with lump crab meat and a creamy lemon butter sauce. I know you love lemon butter sauce, Freddie. You
like the creamy sauce.
Freddie, you can't wait to get that creamy lemon butter.
Jeez.
Yes, sir.
This is Freddie and Harry.
Let the good times roll.
Talking about food today here on Freddie and Harry, ESPN Radio, ESPN App, Sirius XM, Channel 80. Freddie and Harry presented by Progressive Insurance. I'm Gabe Neitzel in for Freddie Coleman along with Harry Douglas. And we are taking your calls right now, 888-SAY-ESPN, 888-729-3776, because Ryan Clark tweeted out about 3 hours ago, coleslaw should be outlawed. There's no reason for it to be a thing. No one has ever shown up to a cookout and asked, where the slaw at? So the question is simple. At 888-SAY-ESPN, where do you stand on coleslaw?
Say that last part again.
Where the slaw at?
I love it, Gabe. One more time for the people out there, baby.
Where the slaw at?
Where the slaw at, baby? Where the dominoes? Where the slaw at?
888-SAY-ESPN, 888-729-3776. So where do you stand on coleslaw? Just quickly a refresher, where do you stand on slaw, Harry?
So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm the biggest advocate for it, but if it's done properly, I'm definitely eating it.
Okay, so that's just kind of on the fence, not really having a take. I get it.
Ryan Clark, to his point, I'm not showing up at any cookout saying, hey, where's the slaw? But if the coleslaw is done properly and it's there at the cookout, I'm going to eat it.
Well, also, I've never heard someone go, oh, man, you got to have some of my slaw. I make the best slaw. Nobody has bragged about, the slaw that they make. That is not a thing for sure. But we go out to William in South Carolina. William, you're up first here on Freddie and Harry. Where do you stand on coleslaw?
KFC has the best coleslaw hands down, but you can't sleep on the Walmart brand either. But if it's done right, I'm like Harry. If it's done right, I'm not going to turn it down either. But in the South, you got to have coleslaw at the cookout because 9 times out of 10, you're going to have some fried fish there somewhere. So you're going to have the older heads looking for it. They're going to look for that coleslaw with that fried fish.
William, let me ask you this question. Do you like the sweet tasting coleslaw? Because that's the only kind of coleslaw I'm going to eat.
It can't be overly sweet. It just got to be balanced, though. That's why I say with KFC and their Walmart brand, they really hard to beat. Now, you got some of these people that try to make their own and they use the Miracle Whip with the sugar. Nah, you can't do it like that, man. It got to be well balanced with it.
Seems like Williams had very vast experience with the coleslaw.
Yes,
has very specific tastes, very specific demands when it comes to it. Let's go to James in Atlanta. James, you're up next on Freddie and Harry. Where do you stand on coleslaw?
Very similar to the last caller. If you're ever in the Deep South, it is an absolute staple. It is a requirement. That goes right on top of the pulled pork. They could get you a great sandwich or a side if you don't want the sandwich.
See, I got to draw the line there. I can't do it. I can't do the slaw on the sandwich, Harry.
So we just got an update, right? Ian Fitzsimmons just texted us, and he said he has got a response from Ryan Clark about coleslaw. And he wrote 2 words. It's dumb.
I couldn't agree more. I could not agree more.
So does that mean Ryan is not coming on Amber and Ian tonight to defend it?
Yeah, we probably should have clarified that. Is he saying that he's not coming on radio with you, Ian, because it's dumb? Or is the coleslaw, is that dumb?
It might be both. Why not both situations?
I have a question. I thought about this with coleslaw. Is coleslaw more of a regional thing? Is coleslaw more accepted in the South because you accompany it with the pulled pork, with the fried fish, with the pulled chicken? Is that more of a thing in the South? Like you said, Harry, putting it on, you have those slaw dogs as well on the hot dogs. Is that more of a South thing than it is in the North or the West?
I definitely believe it is. Like down south, there are a lot of people that are gung-ho and will go crazy over coleslaw. As you see, our callers are rolling in left and right about it.
Look, I think up here in the Midwest, especially in Wisconsin, where I'm at, we do the fish fry. The Friday fish fry, super popular. A lot of places serve the coleslaw with that. And I do think that up here, there would be a lot of people that if you got your Friday night fish fry without coleslaw, they would be up in arms. I just kind of, if it's there, maybe I'll eat it. If not, I'll just kind of leave it. Oos in California, 888 say ESPN. Oos in California, you're up next. What do you say? Are you in or out on coleslaw?
Gabe, have you ever tried coleslaw?
Yeah, of course I've tried coleslaw.
So when I was a kid, I used to watch my grandfather eat coleslaw, and I was like, nah. But when I grew up, well, I'm a chef now, and I had to try coleslaw because being a chef, and I love coleslaw now.
How much do you love it, Oos?
I love coleslaw.
That's what I'm talking about, baby. I love coleslaw.
Oos could not be more in on coleslaw. We'll continue to take your calls a little bit later. 888 say ESPN. In or out on coleslaw? Again, two-word response from Ryan Clark. It's dumb when it comes to coleslaw. Matthew Stafford, meanwhile, trying to figure out if he's in or out of the lineup for the Los Angeles Rams. He's been dealing with an aggravated disc in his back. He's been receiving treatment that reportedly included an epidural injection, and he's going to work out apparently on Saturday now before the Rams play their first preseason game. And if all goes well, he's going to return to practice on Monday. That's according to Sean McVay earlier today for the Rams. And then he went out of his way and emphasized that if this were a game week, Stafford would be cleared to play. I guess I'm still very skeptical about all this.
What?
Just because, I mean, early parts of training camp are non-contact. He hasn't really gone through anything in training camp here, Harry. And if it was a game week, he would play, but during non-contact stuff, he's not playing during training camp. It seems to be mixed messaging to me coming out of Rams camp as far as this injury is concerned.
Okay, so I am concerned that Matthew Stafford has done nothing so far since training camp has started for the Los Angeles Rams. But the moment that I am alarmed by this would be next Friday. If he's not doing anything by August 15th, which is 3 weeks away from game 1 of the regular season, then I'm definitely alarmed by this, because you want your quarterback to be out there throwing around, and the fact that he hasn't done walkthroughs, that tells me everything I need to know. When you say the word epidural, you know the first thing that comes to my mind? Whoa.
Oh.
Is my wife about to have another baby?
Yeah, I was about to say pregnancy is the first thing that comes to mind. Yep.
So for him to get an epidural, this is something that, they're trying to not make a big deal out of. but you cannot ignore it. And if, Matthew Stafford can't start the season, that's worrisome in my opinion, because when I look at this team, I went on Get Up a few weeks ago, and I said that the Los Angeles Rams, when you look at their schedule, they only have 5 games versus teams that made the playoffs last season. So I made the statement in the bold prediction that they're going to have the number 1 seed in the NFC as a conference. Well, let me say this. If Matthew Stafford doesn't start the season, you say to yourself, you hope Jimmy Garoppolo can hold it down for a game or two. And you hope and pray that it's not 4 or 5 games for Matthew Stafford before he's back playing. But right now, I'm just concerned. I will be alarmed and worried to the max if he's not at least practicing by next week and next Friday, August 15th.
Credit to McVay, who, again, saying today, well, if this was a game week, he would be playing. The messaging out of Rams camp has been consistent. This from Adam Schefter on his own podcast earlier this week about the amount of panic that's coming from the Rams about Matthew Stafford and his back injury.
I don't think it's ideal when your quarterback hasn't practiced yet in training camp and it's the first week in August, but my understanding is it is a total maintenance issue. Yes, he has had some back discomfort. He's had some pain, 37 years old, but they don't want to put him out there. They don't want to put any wear and tear in his body. He knows how the game works. He knows how the offense functions. He knows how his teammates think and operate. And so they are intentionally keeping him out in the interest of maintenance, self-preservation, and just wise caution. And my understanding is if the Rams had a game today, Matthew Stafford would be playing without a question. But it's August 5th. Again, there's no urgency to get him out there. There's still plenty of time before the season kicks off. And that's why there is zero panic from the Rams. They're not looking for another quarterback. It's not like they're in that market.
So I would also say this. When I look at the Rams as a football team, I remember doing their second game of the year where they lost to the Arizona Cardinals 41-10. And they mysteriously started to get all these injuries on their football team, and it almost derailed their team. Great job by Sean McVay holding the fort down and keeping this group together and instilling in them time and time again that, hey, there's still a lot to play for this season. But I remember, right, people talking about should Cooper Kupp be traded, and he went down. Nakua at one point went down. He started missing games as well. Offensive linemen left and right went down. Well, the last thing that you want to be missing from your football team is a guy in Matthew Stafford who you traded for because you thought he can get you over the hump and win a Super Bowl. And in his first year, he had the ability to do that. That same Matthew Stafford who threw for over 300 yards last year versus the Philadelphia Eagles in the snow, 324 to be exact, and gave you a chance to win that football game. And if someone blocks Jalen Carter, we might be talking about a different story.
Matthew Stafford is fantastic, and you just ran down the numbers, and he is the only, again, an injury to him would derail any sort of chance for the Rams, which is why I understand them outwardly saying, oh, no, it's fine, it's not a big deal. But I don't know how you can't be concerned about a 37-year-old who has a back injury, because I don't care what sport we're talking about, Harry. You start talking about guys with back injuries, that becomes concerning. And then it's been painful enough that it required an epidural to try to help mitigate some of the pain in his back.
But this is the same quarterback.
Back injuries just don't go away, man. Like this is something that's going to linger the entire season.
But Gabe, this is the same quarterback that had a neck injury as well, right? So when you look at the neck and you look at the spine, and now you're talking about the lower back and getting an epidural and a disc and everything that comes with that, you don't take those things lightly. Because one thing I do know, being a former athlete, professional athlete, right? You don't want to hurt your back because you're walking around like you're 70. Or you're walking around, I should say 80. Let me give the 70-year-old some grace. You're walking around like you're 80 plus. You don't want to be the hunchback of Notre Dame. You don't want to be that guy.
Yeah, it's just one of those things that I don't understand. I mean, you have to be concerned about it. You just have to be. If these are the lengths that you go. And I understand, oh, yeah, if it's a game, he'd be playing. All right, then why does he have to go through a workout? And that has to be good before he's practicing. Like the messaging is just a little too mixed for me right now when it comes from the Rams. And this, to me, is concerning. And Damian Woody, ESPN NFL analyst on First Take, he agrees with me, saying that this injury is concerning for Stafford.
This is the story to me, in my opinion, of the preseason. This man has not taken one snap in practice. It'd be one thing if the organization is managing him and he's still practicing. It wouldn't alarm me. You haven't taken a snap in practice? I'm not buying into the Rams propaganda that, it's no big deal. He's 37,
he's
all of this. Yeah. No snaps in practice is a big deal right now. And so for me, when I look at the NFC landscape, it's Philly, and for me, Rams are right there. We saw what the Rams were able to do. Rams could have won that game in Philadelphia last year. Mm-hmm. And now you're sitting here and telling me, Matthew Stafford, 37 years old, off injured, not practicing at all. Right now, that is a huge freaking deal to me.
You made the same point, Harry, about how well the Rams hung with and almost stole that game from the Eagles in the divisional round a year ago. And because of that, I think the Rams have been placed into top contender status in the NFC. But if they do struggle, if they take a step back because Stafford is unavailable for an extended period of time and he has to miss games, what NFC team to you possesses the biggest threat to the Eagles?
Normally, I would sit up here and say the Detroit Lions, but, the Lions have lost two coordinators. But at the same time, I'm looking at the Green Bay Packers, and I'm saying to myself, man, if Jordan Love can start fast, if Jordan Love can stay healthy, if he shares that love with his newfound number one wide receiver, Matthew Golden, things could be magical for the Green Bay Packers this season. And if those other receivers, in which I believe they are, because when you now have a guy that has been drafted in the first round and everyone is gung-ho over, and all they're talking about is Matthew Golden from his route running, the explosiveness, the sure hands, plucking the ball out of the air, that forces other guys in that receiver room to say, man, I need to step my game up. Why? Because they felt like we weren't doing our job in this room in the proper manner. They had to go out and draft the guy in the first round to give Jordan Love a number one. So it makes the group collectively better. But at the same time, Jordan Love, man, if this guy can get rid of the boneheaded plays, and the plays that I'm talking about is trying to flip it in the air when you're in the back of your own end zone versus the Rams, the pick six backed up versus the Detroit Lions. If you can get rid of those things, and he doesn't have to wear a Superman cape every time he drops back to pass the football, take a page out of Josh Allen's book and what he's been able to do last season. Got him an MVP trophy. You didn't always see the glaring numbers from Josh Allen from a passing standpoint, but what he did a great job of last year was he took the check down over the ball. He took the flat route out by the sidelines. If it wasn't there, he lived to play another down and threw it out of bounds. He eliminated the turnovers. If Jordan Love can do that, accompanied by that defense, and you look at the defensive line, they're full of first-round draft picks. And I do believe in the second year for Jeff Hafley, who came over from Boston College to be their new defensive coordinator, I believe in the second year under his tutelage that this defense is going to be better. Now, that front seven, they're going to have to cover up a little bit for the Green Bay Packers secondary because Jair Alexander is no longer there. Xavier McKinney, he was a bright spot. I believe he was second in the NFL last year in interceptions with 8. Mm-hmm. But I do believe the Green Bay Packers could be that football team if they're hitting on all cylinders, Gabe. I really do.
Yeah, for me with the Packers, there's just so many questions. I think a lot of those guys, look, Matthew Golden through the first 2 weeks of training camp, there have been nothing but good things said about that young man. And I am very, very hopeful, especially as a Packers fan, that he can be that number one wide receiver for Jordan Love, because I think that could take a lot of pressure off, especially if Josh Jacobs continues to be the Josh Jacobs we're expecting him to be. And I understand where you're coming from with the Lions and losing two coordinators. But I just look at the sheer amount of talent and studs that they have up and down that roster. And Jared Goff has questions to answer. Can he be as good as he was last year and the couple years previous without Ben Johnson? Because Ben Johnson took Jared Goff to another level. But play calling's an art. I get it. And this is probably oversimplifying it, Harry. But the offensive coordinator would have to screw up royally if you can't figure out a way to get the ball out of Jared Goff's hands and quickly into Amon-Ra St. Brown's hands, into Jameson Williams' hands, into Jahmyr Gibbs' hands, into Laporta's hands. They just have weapons all over the place on that offense. And, oh, by the way, offensive line's pretty good. Pretty good offensive line. They paid Penei Sewell and he's one of the best tackles in football. They're getting back Aiden Hutchinson, who only had 7.5 sacks in 5 games before he had the unfortunate injury a year ago. That Lions team is stacked. And I feel that with Dan Campbell, they're going to be incredibly hungry and ready to go. And I think as stacked as that roster is, they're the ones that are going to be the ones challenging the Eagles, especially if the Rams struggle, especially if the Stafford back injury lingers.
I will say this also to your point about the Detroit Lions. What's different about them and their new offensive coordinator that I feel like the Eagles don't have the luxury of, Kevin Patullo for the Eagles, he's never called plays. When you look at John Morton, who's now becoming the offensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions, he's called plays before. He was the OC for the Jets in 2017. He was the OC and wide receivers coach for the USC Trojans from 2009 to 2010. So he's been in that role before of having to call plays. Now, I would also say this. When you look at Jared Goff, while he was with the LA Rams, he did have Sean McVay. Mm-hmm. Being with the Detroit Lions, he had Ben Johnson. This is the first time he's not going to have one of those boy wonders calling plays for him. Is that going to be a major adjustment for him? That's the biggest question.
And I'm right there with you. That's the biggest question, because even with Ben Johnson, how many times did he turn over the ball against Washington in that divisional game? He had a 5-interception game in the middle of the season last year. So even with somebody like Ben Johnson calling plays, those mistake games, it wasn't just mistake plays, because it seemed like it would go south quickly for Goff in a lot of those games. They would still pop up from time to time. Can he avoid those with the new offensive coordinator?
I think also when you look at Jared Goff as a quarterback, that run game better be hitting on all cylinders as well, too, to go along with the play action that they want to provide or pose to any defense that they have, because he's not the most versatile when it comes to the athleticism. That's the difference, I believe, between him and a guy like Jordan Love. If pressure comes, Jordan Love has that escapability and can also throw on the run. We've seen him throw those one-legged passes versus the Dallas Cowboys, like Dirk Nowitzki, in which they have a statue there for the Dallas Mavericks. We've seen these things from Jordan Love. That's not the game of Jared Goff.
No, but they've got depth there, too. Oh, Jahmyr Gibbs not having a great game? Oh, we can just turn around and hand it off to Dave Montgomery. Like the depth of talent, especially on that offense for the Lions, is just so deep. I have to believe that their new offensive coordinator is going to be able to figure out anyway with the talent that they have. And Jared Goff is going to be capable enough to lead that Lions team. Coming up next, it is ESPN Radio NFL 2-A-Days. We dive into a team that is near and dear to Freddie's heart. To Harry's heart, the Atlanta Falcons. What must Michael Penix Jr. do to elevate that offense? That's after Harry has this from Grainger.
As you all know, managing maintenance, repair, and operations is never easy. But for the ones who always rise to the challenge, Grainger has your back. From professional-grade products you can count on to fast, dependable delivery, they're there to help you keep things running smoothly. Plus, their technical product specialists are here to help answer all of your toughest questions. And because Grainger knows safety is always a priority, they're committed to being your partner and just protecting both of your people and facilities. Call 1-800-GRAINGER or click Grainger.com or just stop by.
I'm Randy Scott, today on SC Plus, streaming exclusively on Disney Plus. A no-no gone oh-no.
Ends the no-hit bid with 1 out in the 9th inning.
A showstopper for the Dodgers.
The Dodgers make a mistake.
I discover a new island, all while Gary is too busy to join us. It's me, Randy Scott, today on SC Plus.
Adam Schefter here for Vivid Seats, your ultimate destination for all your sports and concert needs this summer. With a game-changing rewards program and an unbeatable selection of tickets, they make it easy for every fan to watch their favorite teams and players in action. Catch every home run and thrilling comeback in person from your favorite seat. Plus, every ticket is backed by a 100% buyer guarantee, giving you peace of mind with every purchase. Visit VividSeats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.
Switching to Progressive is a game-winning call. And that reminds us of other game-winning calls in the history of sports.
It was a doubleheader in August and really hot inside the concession stand. So instead of waiting for people to come to me, I figured I'd walk around yelling, "Hot dogs here!" And that's how I became the first hot dog vendor in sports.
Okay, not really a game-winning call, but it was a good call. You can make one too. Switch to Progressive and you could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states.
The Champaign Parks Foundation, with support from GHR Engineers, Christie Clinic Illinois Race Weekend, and Lynn Ryle, invites you to join them for their 3rd annual Ties and Tinnies Gala on Thursday, September 4th at the iHotel. This year's event is headlined by Fighting Illini women's basketball coach Shauna Green. Attendees can also expect drinks, a plated dinner, a silent auction, and more. Help the Champaign Parks Foundation reach its fundraising goal of $125,000. Get more details now at champaignparks.org. Friday nights in August, it's Farmer City Raceway with their full show plus kids mods brought to you by Nutrient. Adults are $15, veterans $10, kids 12 and under are free. Hot laps around the quarter-mile dirt track start at 6:30. Head to 850 Grove Street in Farmer City before the final Friday, August 29th, with $5,000 to win for the Mars late models during the Chuck Wagon Food Service Richardson Memorial Modifieds and Pro Late Model Racing. You'll buy the whole seat, but you'll only need the edge.
With the new school year coming up quickly, it's time to start thinking about back-to-school physicals. Children going into kindergarten, 6th grade, and 9th grades are required to get a physical before going back to school. However, it's a good idea to take your child at any age once a year to their provider for an annual checkup before school starts. Christie Clinic pediatricians and family medicine providers are now scheduling annual back-to-school physicals. To schedule an appointment with your Christie Clinic pediatrician or family medicine provider, please visit www.christieclinic.com.
At Freedom Roofing, they stand for quality, integrity, and the American way. Locally owned and built on trust, they take pride in protecting what matters most, your home. Their expert team delivers top-notch craftsmanship with unbeatable customer service because you deserve nothing less. When storms hit or roofs age, call the name that stands for strength. Freedom Roofing, proudly serving our community because your roof should be as strong as the country we call home. Freedom Roofing, built on trust, powered by integrity. Visit freedomchampaign.com. Every month we celebrate law enforcement. Happy to welcome to the studio Officer Betsy Alfonso. She joined the University of Illinois Police Department July 23 after serving 12 years with Urbana. Winner of Law Enforcement Official, congratulations. You've been at 2 different departments. You have to be good, Betsy.
Well, thank you. I'm very humbled and really honored. I just really love police work in the different areas that I can do. And truly, I've been a detective, I've been a sergeant, and now my role back as a patrol officer with the REACH team. So I do the BHD, the Behavioral Health Detective. That's probably my favorite role here.
There's a lot of people with mental issues, drugs, alcohol. I mean, I'm sure you see a lot of that.
You're right. It is a big issue. Lots of things have evolved over time with it, and there's no quick fixes. I think we're learning how to handle the situation better and support people.
Betsy Alfonso, a law enforcement official of the month. She is a University of Illinois police star. Tim Onstad, Gale Forex Trucking, and Dedicated Diesel.
Yeah, we're really just kind of getting going and feeling out when that corn and beans are going to start turning and when we're going to start hauling grains for Gale and some farmers around. Had one call yesterday, make sure he was on the list and set up. We're going to bring in probably 3 to 5 good drivers or young guys that want to learn part of the trucking business and get them started in the field where they're not out on their own somewhere. And we'll be hauling grain, looking probably, like I said, 3 to 5 good people that want to haul some grain, not just young, experienced. If somebody's semi-retired, they want to get into that a little bit, we're good with that too. It works out for a good atmosphere and good overall employee satisfaction.
How can we reach you, sir?
Get me on email at timo@gftlog.com. Call the office at 765-793-7131. Give me a holler. We'll get you going and get things happening.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. This just in, Rams quarterback Matthew Stafford, dealing with a back issue, will go through a workout Saturday and is expected to return to practice Monday. Stafford hasn't practiced at all during training camp. Houston safety C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Chargers left tackle Rashawn Slater each carted off the field with leg injuries today. The Colts quarterback competition continues in the preseason opener tonight against the Ravens. Anthony Richardson will start, play a quarter and a half. Daniel Jones will play less than a quarter, then start the next preseason game. ESPN Colts reporter Stephen Holder.
They're really talking about 2 different types of players. Now, the one thing they do have in common is both
can use their legs. And Anthony Richardson is a different breed of athlete than Daniel Jones, but let's not sell Daniel Jones short. He definitely can move around and can throw on the run and is a weapon with his legs as well.
Stephen Holder on Clinton and Friends. Jaguars rookie Travis Hunter will play receiver and corner in the preseason opener Saturday night versus Pittsburgh. Steelers defensive tackle Cam Hayward hasn't taken part in practice yet this summer as he awaits a restructured contract. WNBA, Indiana guard Caitlin Clark out a 9th straight game against Phoenix tonight due to a groin injury.
Hey, it's Michelle Smallman, and coming up Friday, what are our boldest predictions heading into this college football season? Will Arch Manning live up to the hype? We'll talk about it on Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
This is Freddie and Harry on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app.
I'm Gabe Knoxville in for Freddie Coleman, along with Harry Douglas. It is Freddie and Harry, ESPN Radio, ESPN app, Sirius XM Channel 80. Freddie and Harry presented by Progressive Insurance. Just because two-a-days have gone away in the NFL doesn't mean two-a-days are disappearing from ESPN Radio. We've got to get to our two-a-days, starting with the Falcons.
This is ESPN Radio's NFL Two-A-Days. The Atlanta Falcons.
This is Mark Raimondi covering the Falcons. The biggest storyline we're watching this summer in training camp is the continued development of quarterback Michael Penix Jr. He started 3 games at the end of last season, taking over for Kirk Cousins, and performed reasonably well. But the team still only went 1-2 and missed the playoffs. Penix is still essentially a rookie, now with the training wheels off. In an offense with Bijan Robinson and Drake London, the Falcons are expected to be potent. But will Penix rise up enough to take the Falcons to their first playoff berth since 2017? His play in camp thus far has been somewhat inconsistent. The jury is still out. It's something we'll continue to monitor for the rest of the summer.
So, of course, Harry, if we're talking about the Falcons, we do have to start with Michael Penix Jr. Got some action, which was unexpected when the season began. Got action in 3 games last year when he eventually took over for Kirk Cousins. Falcons ultimately miss out on the playoffs. He goes 1-2 in those starts. What does Penix have to do this time around to try to help elevate the offense in 2025?
There's only one thing that comes to my mind, Gabe. Talking about this offense being elevated more so than it was a season ago, and that's activating tight end Kyle Pitts. There's a reason why these two guys are golf buddies. They have been spending a lot of time together because if you can activate Pitts and get him playing like he did his rookie season, which that was the only year where he had over 1,000 yards, you have to remember back in 2021, Kyle Pitts was taking 4th overall. And a lot of people deemed him as the unicorn. He was a unicorn in year 1. Can you be a unicorn now in 2025 for your hefty lefty? A quarterback that can make every single throw on the football field, but unlocking Kyle Pitts and activating him, I think can take this offense to another dimension. And it actually can be very, very scary, too, as well.
Yeah, first and foremost for me, I think for Penix, I think it's you limit the turnovers. Not that he is a turnover machine, but you look at the interception numbers last year from Kirk Cousins, and that's what really started to hold this team back. You can't turn the ball over 16 times the way that Kirk Cousins did and expect to have a highly efficient offense, an offense that's going to be competing for postseason spots. So I think Penix can do that, certainly did it in his time in college, and if he limits the turnovers, that's how this offense can start to evolve and start to take some of those steps forward. What do you think it is? Because I am intrigued with Kyle Pitts as well. What do you think it's been that's really held him back since a rookie? Because he hasn't gotten, it's not like he's had 900 yards in any of the last 3 years since he went over 1,000. He hasn't gotten close to that number, dealt with an injury in year 2. But why has he not been able to replicate that success?
It's been a few things. Number one, you have to be healthy. You know, he sustained an injury, multiple injuries, and he has not been that same player since year 1. Now, number 2, I do feel like quarterback play plays a part in that as well. When you look at his rookie season, he had Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan is a quarterback who's in the Ring of Honor for the Atlanta Falcons. Matt Ryan's a quarterback that I played with. I got drafted with in 2008. That's a guy that's going to get the tight end the football. The quarterbacks after Matt Ryan have not done that. Now, thirdly, I think it is some on Kyle Pitts. You have to be enthused. You have to be locked in. You have to run full speed. You have to go full throttle because that's what is definitely expected of you. Number one, being drafted where you were drafted, but your teammates are counting on you. The quarterbacks are counting on you. The coaching staff, their jobs are counting on you, Kyle Pitts, to go out there and do your thing. So it's a handful of things. All of those I just mentioned.
I take a look at this defense, too, because despite the turnovers is what held the offense back. They were 6th in yards, 13th in points because they turned it over too much. But they were 23rd across the board, and that's just not good enough. Right? This defense, I think, probably needs... And look, they invested high draft capital to try to make this defense better. 2 first-round picks on the defensive side of the ball. I think that's something else that needs to improve if they want to take that next step, try to chase down the Buccaneers for division supremacy.
So, number one, that's my reason for concern.
Concern?
Can those first 2 round draft picks that they drafted, James Pierce Jr., also Jalen Walker, can those guys make a difference up front and allow this defense to sack the quarterback frequently, but also not just get there and sack him? Can you take the ball away? Can you take the ball off the quarterback when you arrive to the quarterback violently? Can you do that? And it's not just him. It's another pick that they had from Washington a season ago, Braylon Trice, who missed the entire year. Rook on the defensive line. Now, all 4 of those guys have the ability to grow together, being drafted within the the last 2 years in the 2024 NFL draft and also the 2025 NFL draft. Can those guys grow together and wreak havoc time and time again, rushing the passer? When you look at the 3 of the last 4 years, the Falcons have been 31st, 31st, and 32nd sacking the quarterback. That's why you use your 2026 first-round draft pick to move up back into the first round of 2025 and take James Pierce Jr.
Okay, so if that's your reason for concern, and I'm right there with you, what's a reason for optimism for the Falcons going into 2025?
Ooh, here comes the gunslinger. Here comes the gunslinger, Michael Penix Jr., baby, Mr. Do-Rag himself. It's the big Penix in energy. So you look at all the clips that people are posting from Atlanta Falcons training camp. You see those moon balls. You see touchdowns. You see the accuracy. Even when it's raining outside, don't worry, baby. Michael Penix Jr. has your back. He has that ability. I watched this guy closely while he was at Washington. And to be able to make every single throw on the football field outside the numbers be pinpoint accurate. Down the football field, 40 yards or more, pinpoint accurate. Short, intermediate, to do all those things. And then what a lot of people do not give him credit for is his athleticism. Because he's so great within the pocket, but he has the athleticism to pick up a first down with his legs as well. But Michael Penix Jr. is the reason why I am so optimistic about the Atlanta Falcons in 2025.
I have high hopes for Penix Jr. I have been a big fan of his. Going back to what he did at the University of Washington, dealing with the number of injuries that he had in college, overcoming that, and then being a top 10 pick, I think is incredible. But my biggest reason for optimism, the running back's having a resurgence right now in the NFL. And the fact that we've gone this long without mentioning, really, Bijan Robinson, who is one of the best running backs in the NFL. He's 3rd in the league in rushing last year. Probably would have got more attention if it wasn't for the 2,000 yards that Saquon Barkley ran for, the almost 2,000 yards that Derrick Henry ran for last year for the Baltimore Ravens. He is the best young running back in the NFL. And I think with Penix, his best friend, we know this for any young quarterback, your best friend, good running game. And they're going to have a great running game with Bijan Robinson. You pair that with what potentially Penix can do as he continues to grow, that's what's going to make this offense absolutely lethal and tough to stop.
So the 1-2 punch with Bijan Robinson and also Tyler Algier, it definitely is something. And those two guys love each other like no one else does. Like their chemistry, the way they support one another, it's what you want as a running back coach and also an OC and your head coach. I would also say this. Bijan Robinson, there's no one in the NFL right now currently that makes people miss in space in the foxhole like Mr. Robinson. I promise you. He is lethal when it comes to making people miss.
Prediction time. What is your bold prediction for the Atlanta Falcons for 2025?
Win the NFC South. They're going to win the NFC South. I know the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have held that crown for the last 4 years. Baker Mayfield has done a tremendous job. Emeka Ibuka right now, wide receiver out of Ohio State, he's shining in training camp. But guess what? Here comes the gunslinger. Here comes the gunslinger. Falcons.
My bold prediction for the Falcons, I go back to Kyle Pitts because I see all that talent. I see that 1,000-yard season that he had in 2021, and I know that the injury existed in his second year. I just can't quite figure out why he's only been able to put up 667 yards and then 602 yards last year. Each of the last 2 seasons, he's been below that 1,000-yard mark. But I think he sets a career high in receptions, which would be over 68. And the less bold part of this, career high in touchdowns. He scored a career high 4 touchdowns last year. I think in year number 5, we start to see more of Kyle Pitts and the difference maker he can be athletically. Career year for their tight end because, again, I think that middle of the field is going to be open for Kyle Pitts this year for the Falcons.
Let me ask you this. If you had to pick your NFC South winner today, Gabe, who are you picking? Are you picking the Falcons or are you picking the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Don't be biased. Give me your true analysis on who you're picking and why.
I would take the Buccaneers because, look, they've got questions to answer without Liam Cohen, but I really like what Baker Mayfield did. Them potentially being without Godwin at the beginning of the season is a little concerning, but they've shown that they can navigate that. They use a first-round pick to go get Emeka Ibuka, so he can help that wide receiver core. I have less questions about their defense versus the Falcons. Like, the Falcons have these young pieces that can grow, but it's tough to know what that defense is going to be until you see it in the first couple of weeks. So right now, I'm still leaning towards the Buccaneers.
You know what? Hold on. Give me a second, Shannon. Let me go ahead and write this down. Gabe Neitzel, Buccaneers. Let me make sure I document this.
I thought this was like non-biased.
What's the date? August 7th?
August 7th.
8/7/25. What time is it? 4:41 p.m. Make sure I write that down. Okay, got it. Go ahead, Shannon. My apologies.
No, I just want to say I want to commend you, Harry Douglas, for your professionalism there, talking about your Atlanta Falcons throughout the course of the tour days here. When we did our bold prediction, your bold prediction was the Falcons win NFC South. True professionalism. But I'm gonna do something that you didn't do there. You didn't do there because you didn't tell the truth. Go ahead, give them that energy. Tell them about that big Penix energy. You were trying to be modest and saying that the Falcons are gonna win the NFC South. Not only are the Falcons gonna win the NFC South, they're gonna go out here and shock the world and win maybe 1 or 2 games in the playoffs. You know why? Because here comes
the gunslinger. Here comes the gunslinger. Oh, baby, don't get me riled up today on this lovely Thursday.
Oh, Freddie and Harry, it's ESPN Radio. And coming up next, Archie Manning says that he's not leaving Texas after 2025. So if you were hoping to, potentially tank your season to go after Arch next year, you may have to keep an eye on a different quarterback. That's next, Freddie and Harry, ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
50 states in 50 days continues.
In the Buckeye State, in the great state of Ohio.
Land of 10,000 lakes. We are in Mississippi.
Welcome to Bristol Motor Speedway.
Ever have to ask anyone if they're doing an Ironman or a half Ironman? Because they'll just tell you.
Okay, there you go.
50 states, 50 days. This is Sports Center on Tour.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/joy to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments, including pills, chews, and more. 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy, HIMS.com/JOY.
Tim Onstad, Gale Forex Trucking, and Dedicated Diesel.
Yeah, we're really just kind of getting going and feeling out when that corn and beans are going to start turning and when we're going to start hauling grains for Gale and some farmers around. Had one call yesterday, make sure he was on the list and set up. We're going to bring in probably 3 to 5 good drivers or young guys that want to learn part of the trucking business and get them started in the field where they're not out on their own somewhere. And we'll be hauling grain, looking probably, like I said, 3 to 5 good people that want to haul some grain, not just young, experienced. If somebody's semi-retired, they want to get into that a little bit, we're good with that too. It works out for a good atmosphere and good overall employee satisfaction.
How can we reach you, sir?
Get me on email at timo@gftlog.com. Call the office at 765-793-7131. Give me a holler. We'll get you going and get things happening.
Why visit Freedom Roofing for your roof repair or replacement? Just listen to what satisfied customers are saying.
Freedom Roofing was quick to respond, reasonably priced, and their quality was excellent.
They found an immediate issue, patched it on the spot, and later replaced our entire roof. We couldn't be happier.
For local, trusted roofing done right, visit freedomchampaign.com or call 217-393-6000 today.
The Champaign Parks Foundation, with support from GHR Engineers, Christie Clinic Illinois Race Weekend, and Lynn Ryle, invites you to join them for their 3rd annual Ties and Tinnies Gala on Thursday, September 4th at the iHotel. This year's event is headlined by Fighting Illini women's basketball coach Shauna Green. Attendees can also expect drinks, a plated dinner, a silent auction, and more. Help the Champaign Parks Foundation reach its fundraising goal of $125,000. Get more details now at champaignparks.org.
Take charge of the years ahead with a smart, sound investment strategy and business succession plan. Busey Bank's business and wealth management experts help you envision your best future with powerful insights and proven strategies. Building business and growing wealth since 1868. Busey Bank, proud to be the official bank of the Fighting Illini. Member FDIC.
Urbana's Market at the Square has been cultivating a vibrant scene in CU since 1979. Get to know your farmers bringing locally harvested honey, crafts, jewelry, art, fresh cut flowers, plus produce including fresh leafy greens and root vegetables, fresh baked treats, and a wide selection of proteins. Going on now, every Saturday, 7 a.m. till noon, rain or shine at Illinois and Vine, it's Urbana Market at the Square. Find Urbana Market on Facebook or urbanamarket.org.
ESPN.com/golf. Adam Schefter here for Vivid Seats, your ultimate destination for all your sports and concert needs this summer. With a game-changing rewards program and an unbeatable selection of tickets, they make it easy for every fan to watch their favorite teams and players in action. Catch every home run and thrilling comeback in person from your favorite seat. Plus, every ticket is backed by a 100% buyer guarantee, giving you peace of mind with every purchase. Visit VividSeats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.
Need assistance with door and window projects? The Home Depot can help. From inspiration and materials to ordering and installation, our free Millwork virtual apron service can get you moving and doing. Plus, we speak Spanish too. Our associates can help you tackle complex jobs without you leaving the job site, saving you time and money. Call us at 1-833-HD-APRON or visit homedepot.com/MBA. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
GNC knows that you're not always feeling it at the gym, but don't get down, get lit, and get more out of every workout. Beyond Raw Lit is a clinically dosed pre-workout that flips the switch and gives you more energy, focus, intensity, and pumps. The perfect combo for a killer workout. Plus, it's got incredible flavors and thousands of 5-star reviews, so you know it's good. Pick it up at GNC stores or go to GNC.com.
Good morning, Doctor. Doctor? Hi, Doctor. Doctor?
Dr. Jackson's practice is growing.
What do you mean we're still short-staffed?
He needs a good patient doctor.
How do we not have enough doctors to doctor all these patients?
And he doesn't have the patience to sift through hundreds of resumes.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
This is Freddie and Harry on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app.
If you are what you say you are, a superstar, then have no fear.
Oh, yeah.
That's Harry Douglas. I'm Gabe Neitzel in for Freddie and Coleman. Freddie and Harry, ESPN Radio, ESPN app, SiriusXM Channel 80. Is Arch Manning a superstar? We got to wait and find out, although guessing there's more than one NFL team that would be willing to bet he is going to be a superstar, maybe hoping he would be available to them to take in the 2026 NFL Draft. However, his grandfather, Archie Manning, is saying it may have to be till 2027. Speaking with Texas Monthly, Archie said that he has not had conversations with Arch beyond his future for 2025. However, he said, knowing his grandson, he has an idea of what the former top recruit is going to do regardless of what happens this year, saying, quote, Arch isn't going to do that. He'll be at Texas, Manning said, whether Arch would declare for the draft after this season. Is that surprising to you that Arch Manning would end up at Texas for the next 2 seasons instead of being a starter this year and then transitioning off into the NFL?
No, it's not surprising at all when you have the grandfather of Arch Manning who had 2 sons, or still has 2 sons that played at a high level in the National Football League, in which both guys spent 4 years, one at Tennessee, the other one at Ole Miss. So, no, I'm not surprised when I hear this. It's just what they do in the Manning family. This is Arch Manning's first year as a starter. There's no rush to go to the National Football League. Last time I checked, it's not going anywhere because it's the number 1 sport in America, Gabe. So why rush the process if you come out in 2027 and you're going to be the first quarterback taken still? But you also are allowing him to, number 1, go through his first season as a full-time starter, but then also now you get to critique, or he gets to critique his game after that season and try to get better for his senior year. So I am not surprised by the grandfather, Archie Manning, saying that Arch will be back at Texas for his senior season. Now, when I look at Arch, big games that he has this year, number 1, none is better than week 1 versus Ohio State. Number 1, Texas versus number 2, Ohio State. That Florida game, I'm circling that one because if DJ Lagway shows that he can be healthy and is playing for Florida, that's going to be a very interesting one as well. Now, Oklahoma, you look at the Red River rivalry, you have to say it slow so you don't mess it up. That's another big game. Always Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia, right? Georgia is a football team, and that defense last year, not only did it have Quinn Ewers spook, but it had Arch Manning looking like a deer in the headlights as well. As they hosted them a season ago, you got to go on the road to Georgia. And then the last game versus Texas A&M, you get to host that one at home in Austin. That's always going to be a big game because it's a rivalry game.
I know he's Arch Manning, but if he spent 1 year at Texas, now he would have to be really good at Texas this year for me not to think that he would probably still need a little bit more developing. Because for the most part, he's just sat on the bench the last 2 years. And the playing time, the very limited playing time he got last year, he looked pretty good. And if you're Texas, there's a reason why you're excited about Arch Manning being your starting quarterback. But we take a look at quarterbacks who really only had 1 year starting, then going to the NFL, a lot of them struggle. And a lot of times teams don't have great plans in place for guys like that who need to sit. And I think him spending 2 more years in Texas is probably the best thing for his development. And hard to argue with that when that's what you pointed it out. That's what his uncles did, and they were ready to start in the NFL pretty much from day one. I know Peyton certainly struggled through a bunch of picks his first year, but those guys were ready to go and can try to contribute on their teams from day one in the NFL, and certainly helps in the era of NIL.
Oh, yes, it does.
Don't know what the official number is for Arch Manning this year, but I'm guessing being the quarterback of Texas has its perks financially when we're talking about name, image, and likeness money that's coming the way for Arch Manning.
Oh, when you look at the school, the University of Texas, there's a lot of money behind the university.
Yep.
So I don't even think the number would ever be disclosed when it comes to what Arch Manning is making, because his last name, number 1, is Manning. But let's just talk about from a teenager perspective. Oh, you mean I got to stay in college a little bit longer at the University of Texas in Austin? Oh, no problem, Bob. Isn't that what Waldo said on Family Matters? No problem, Pop. No problem. I'm going to stay in college. I'm going to continue to develop. And, you know, you might have people out there, Gabe, that says, you know, this is the grandfather trying to shield the grandson. Well, there's nothing that grandpa can do to shield him from the pressure that he's going to be under in 2025 because of that last name and because of what his uncles have done, not only at their respective college, but also in the NFL.
And the thing is, when Archie has usually spoken, whether it's been about his own sons, whether it's been about his grandson, whatever he says usually ends up coming to fruition. So the fact that he's out there going, oh, we haven't really talked, but he's going to be at Texas. I just have a sneaking suspicion based on past history and the things that Archie has said that he kind of knows, and he knows what's going to be happening with his grandson. So if you're a Longhorn fan, get ready for Arch for 2 more years.
Well, usually grandfathers and grandmothers, they keep it real, baby.
Bengals doing something tonight they don't typically do. We dive into that next. ESPN Radio.
A SoFi personal loan is here to help you achieve something once thought impossible, overcoming high-interest credit card debt. Walk the tightrope of your finances with one low, fixed-rate monthly payment, no fees required, and as soon as the same-day funding. That's right. Pull off your own debt-defying stunt with a SoFi personal loan. Visit SoFi.com/trick to learn more. Loans originated by SoFi Bank, N.A., member FDIC. Terms and conditions apply. NMLS 696891.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
ESPN Radio Sports Beat with Freddie Coleman.
It is a no-lose situation if you're Shedeur Sanders of the Cleveland Browns about to start the preseason game tomorrow against the Carolina Panthers. No matter what's been talked about being underdrafted or maybe being overrated before the Cleveland Browns took you in the 5th round, or the fact you have not gotten a lot of reps when it comes to being out there in the practice field, it is really a no-lose situation with all the injuries that have happened that have not involved you, even though he had a little shoulder soreness last week that kept him out a couple of practices. Now you get a chance to get out there and prove it on the field. Now you get a chance to open eyes that have nothing to do with people outside the Cleveland Browns, but inside the Cleveland Browns. This opportunity for anybody, no matter what position you play, does not come around often. And especially the kind of pedigree in college, what he was able to do first at Jackson State, then Colorado, now trying to do to the Cleveland Browns. If you're Shedeur Sanders, expect him to let it loose and let it fly. He has nothing to lose because many people believe he shouldn't be good enough to be in that position in the first place. In 60 seconds, the new star in tennis.
Want to get 30% stronger in just 8 weeks? Then GNC Ant Whey Bolic is your protein. From America's #1 protein powder brand for building strength, Ant Whey Bolic delivers ultra-pure, fast-digesting whey protein packed with 6.2 grams of leucine for faster gains in muscle growth and recovery. If you want more out of every workout, then settle for nothing less than a premium formula that's third-party tested for over 285 banned substances and proven to get you stronger, faster. Go to your local GNC for Whey Bolic and get ready for gains.
Evan Cohen here. Whether you're locking in your home run picks or riding with your favorite golfers this summer, ESPN Bet is your sports book for all the action. Go from checking stats on your favorite teams and players to placing bets in just a few taps. Plus, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet app and sign up with promo code USL to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
You may not know the name Victoria Mboko, but you really, really should. Only 18 years of age, about to play in her native country of Canada for a championship against Naomi Osaka in the Rogers Tournament. She has taken down not one, not two, but 3 different Grand Slam champions in this great run, and the whole country of Canada has been enthralled seeing exactly what she's been able to try to accomplish and what she's been able to do by getting everybody excited about a new star in tennis that's only 18 years of age. She hits the ball like Sloane Stephens. She has athleticism like Coco Gauff. She has the range energy and personality when it comes to Arena Sabalenka, all in one 18-year-old package. Tennis has always been really good lately about finding new stars or having new stars find the sport. We have another latest one right now trying to take down a Grand Slam champion in her native country when it comes to Naomi Osaka. Can't wait to see exactly what that's going to look like with Victoria going for a win that nobody saw coming from Miss Mboko. From the ESPN Radio Sports Beat, I'm Freddie Coleman of ESPN Radio's Freddie and Harry.
You're listening to WSJK ESPN 93.5 Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. An update on Rams quarterback Matthew Stafford today from coach Sean McVay. Stafford, dealing with a back injury, will go through a workout Saturday and is expected to return to practice Monday. He hasn't yet practiced during training camp. Chargers star left tackle Rashawn Slater carted off the field today with a left leg injury. No word yet on the severity. Jacksonville rookie Travis Hunter will make his two-way debut in Saturday night's preseason opener versus Pittsburgh. He'll play receiver and cornerback. ESPN NFL analyst Damian Woody.
I want to see it because it's such a fascinating story, but realistically, he's going to have to concentrate more on one side of the ball and then give a lot lesser snaps on the other side. And my inkling is he's going to play a lot more on the offensive side of the ball because they have to get Trevor Lawrence going.
Damian Woody on Joe and Q. Steelers All-Pro defensive tackle Cam Hayward hasn't fully practiced yet this summer as he waits for a restructured contract that hasn't yet gotten done. Hayward is seeking a raise in a defensive market that has been reset this offseason.
Hey, it's Michelle Smallman, and coming up Friday, what are our boldest predictions heading into this college football season? Will Arch Manning live up to the hype? We'll talk about it on Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
From Studio 2 at the worldwide headquarters of ESPN and the HD studio in Atlanta, Georgia, this is Freddie and Harry.
The selection committee today, classic candies, E-Dog.
So I remember being in elementary school and they pass around a bucket of candy, you get to pick what you want. And a lot of times the very exclusive candy is Fun Dip. Like if you didn't get the Fun Dip, you felt like you missed out. So every time I got the Fun Dip, comes with like a white stick that you can dip in. And
what color was the stick?
It was a white stick.
Yeah, it was. Pure sugar.
Gets the job done. And the powdered sugar to go, dip into.
No problem.
So tasty.
Had a baby.
This is Freddie and Harry.
Let the good times roll. The bad times roll. The sun don't shine. All you need. Let the good times roll. Don't stop.
Here's Freddie and Harry on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. Check us out, SiriusXM Channel 80. I'm Gabe Neitzel, in for Freddie today, hanging out with Harry Douglas. We do have NFL preseason football tonight. Bengals, one of the teams in action as they travel to Philadelphia to take on the Eagles. To help us break it down, we welcome in Mo Egger from ESPN 1530 in Cincinnati. Mo, certainly appreciate the time, man. So the Cincinnati Bengals have gotten off to slow starts the last handful of seasons. That means we're going to see a little bit of their starting crew tonight. Joe Burrow. How much are we expecting Burrow to get in tonight's game in Philly?
More than he ever has in a preseason game. His preseason experience isn't very extensive. I think 3 passes his second year in 2021. He played a series last year in the first game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's basically been it. Zach Taylor said earlier this week that he's going to play, quote, a quarter-ish along with the other starters. And then in the second preseason game, which is going to be a week from Monday, on the road against the Commanders, probably going to play an entire half. And that's a sharp departure from what Zach Taylor has done really since he got here. He comes from that Sean McVay school, right, with the Rams, where you don't want to play anybody of consequence in the preseason. But when you have the struggles the Bengals have had in recent years, starting off 0-2 each of the last 3 seasons, 0-3 last year, it calls for change. They've kind of changed how they structured training camp a little bit, been a little bit more physicality. And the biggest change is you're going to see Joe Burrow and the other players who matter in the preseason starting tonight.
Mo, I like everything about this, especially like you just alluded to, when you have these slow starts in which, since Zach Taylor became the head coach for the Cincinnati Bengals, they have had these slow starts. I don't think it's just for a guy like Joe Burrow, but I'm thinking about the offensive line who hasn't been so great over the years as well. Allowing those guys to gel and get acclimated to football, playing actual football. What do you think about the offensive line and those guys being on one accord as well in preseason? So when you hit the regular season, you're sprinting and not jogging.
Yeah, could not agree more, especially for a team that, you talk about the recent offensive line struggles. They're going to have 2 new starting guards this year. They drafted a guy in Dylan Fairchild in the 3rd round from Georgia who they expect to be the starting left guard. And so there's no reason not to give him as many preseason snaps as possible. When you think of the Bengals in season openers the last 3 years, it's been Joe Burrow, and frankly, it's been Joe Burrow coming off of something, whether it's been an appendectomy, a calf injury, or last year the wrist injury. But if you watch those games, it was the overall function of the offense that just seemed clunky, seemed disjointed. I remarked after each of those 3 games that the Bengals, just as an offensive unit, looked kind of unprepared. Joe Burrow's performance is obviously a big part of that. If you go back to the 2022 season opener when he had 5 interceptions a few weeks after having an appendectomy, that felt like kind of an outlier. But the previous 2 years, just the overall look and function of the offense, it has seemed totally disjointed. And so I think they're hoping to iron out some of those kinks, in games like this. But I'm with you. I think when you have their offensive line issues that they've had now for a decade, when you have their track record of getting off to poor starts and looking as unprepared as they have, you got to change things up in the preseason, and so they have.
Mo Egger, ESPN 1530 in Cincinnati, joining us here on Freddie and Harry, ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. I'm Gabe Neitzel, in for Freddie Coleman, along with Harry Douglas. If we're going to talk about the Bengals, we have to talk about Trey Hendrickson. I'm sure you're sick of it at this point, Mo, but is there any end in sight for the contract dispute between the star pass rusher and the Bengals?
I think the end in sight is September 7th, a month from today, when they play their first game, because I refuse to believe that the Bengals will take the field without Trey Hendrickson being with them. It's just a matter of, does it happen under a new contract or does it happen under Trey's current deal? To me, if this is about money, then I refuse to believe that Trey Hendrickson is going to forego game checks of close to $900,000. My guess is something gets done. There's a little bit of a track record here where they either get the deal done right before the opener. Heck, A.J. Green, once upon a time, signed his contract literally while he was walking to the bus to take the team to the airport to go to Oakland to play the Raiders in Week 1 of the 2015 season. Or in the case of Jamar Chase last year, they don't necessarily get the deal done, but they've made enough progress that you feel like they'll pick things up where they left off the following offseason, and Jamar's going to play. But, this ordeal has taken a lot of twists and turns, and I think what's going to be interesting to watch is, tonight, Shamar Stewart plays the same position as Trey Hendrickson. He's going to play tonight, their first-round pick. Miles Murphy, their first-round pick from 2023, who did next to nothing last year. If those guys start to show some flashes, I don't necessarily know that it's going to put a ton of pressure on Trey Hendrickson, but it does flip the leverage, I guess, slightly back to the Bengals. And it is interesting, when they released their depth chart this week, they had Trey Hendrickson as a third-teamer, so a little bit of a shot across the bow. My guess is, though, if you and I were talking on the morning of the opener, we will be expecting Trey Hendrickson to suit up.
See, Mo, great minds think alike, because I think one of the most important people within that organization this season will be defensive coordinator Al Golden. And the reason why I bring that up is because the young players, Miles Murphy, Shamar Stewart, McKinley Jackson, Chris Jenkins Jr., I think the development of those players and also their growth is going to be very important to this football team, especially defensively, moving forward and turning over a new leaf. When I look at the Philadelphia Eagles, one of the reasons why they were able to have so much success last season, the young players on defense, they grew, they were developed. That was something missing last season. Even when I look in the secondary at people like DJ Turner and Dax Hill, talk about that a little bit, and Al Golden being able to develop these young players so they can get up to speed and be playing great football.
There's no doubt about it. Look, they've gone heavy on defense in the draft the last couple of years. You mentioned 2 names that I think don't get talked about enough, Chris Jenkins and McKinley Jackson. Defensive tackles who they drafted in rounds 2 and 3 last year, or 2 and 4, I should say, last year. Players who I think they view as central to seeing the defense go from what it was last year, which was horrific, to something that's at least good enough to avoid having Joe Burrow not play in the postseason this year. I think where the Bengals are really interesting, though, is in the secondary because they were terrible back there last year. And yet they didn't draft a corner. They didn't draft a safety. They didn't find a player at either position in free agency. They didn't cut any of those players. They basically said this offseason that the reason why the defense last year was so bad was Lou Anarumo's scheme. And so we're going to bring back basically all the same guys, bring in one or two free agents at other positions, and run it back with basically the same personnel that was terrible last year until Al Golden fix it. I certainly think there's a lot of upside with a lot of those players on defense, but there aren't a whole lot of guys beyond Trey Hendrickson himself who have really had any sustained success in the NFL. It is, to me, once you kind of get past, Burrow and the offensive line and paying the wide receivers, it's the number one storyline for this team. Can a new defensive coordinator get better results with basically the same players as a year ago?
Mo, we certainly appreciate the time. Thanks for jumping on. And take solace in the fact that at least for one quarter, you get some real football tonight.
Get some real football, but, knowing Joe Burrow's history of injury and knowing that the Bengals offensive line is a work in progress, I think most here are going to be watching that first quarter, like with your hands over your face. Anybody who's ever raised a kid, like with my daughter when she has carrying a bowl of cereal across the kitchen and you're watching it apprehensively, I think that's how we're going to watch tonight.
Mo Egger, ESPN 1530 in Cincinnati, joining us here on Freddie and Harry on ESPN Radio. I'm Gabe Neitzel, in for Freddie Coleman, along with Harry Douglas. Although I understand that Bengals fans may be watching through their fingers tonight, I still cannot love this idea anymore from the Bengals. They've recognized slow starts are a weakness, and this is what good coaching staffs do. Hey, this is a weakness. How do we do better? How do we try to fix this? And this is the solution that they've come up with. I could not love this idea more of getting some guys a little bit more action in preseason games.
I feel the same way you do, Gabe. And one of the things that you have to do as a head coach, especially when things have not gone right for you the last 2 years and you've missed the playoffs, is self-scout your football team. Self-scout you as a head coach and also the rest of the coaching staff. It's not just players. And what can you do differently to provide or put your players in the best situation possible? And for the Cincinnati Bengals, that's playing Joe Burrow. That's playing starters in the preseason. So those guys can go ahead and iron out those kinks. So when you start the regular season, they can hit the ground running. And I mean sprinting. Not have the lapses that they had last season versus the New England Patriots in game one. I'm pretty sure there are a lot of people that are definitely involved in betting that did not have the New England Patriots beating the Cincinnati Bengals in week one last season. Think about how upset all those people were.
They knocked me out of my pool. I think it knocked out half the league in the pool I was in last year. Everybody thought the Bengals were beating the Patriots. Everybody got knocked out by that game. It is Freddie and Harry. It's presented by Progressive Insurance. They offer auto, home, and commercial auto insurance, plus a variety of business insurance options. Visit Progressive.com today.
Is it a good take?
That's good. Great.
Or a hot take?
How hot? Red hot.
Find out now.
Time to play a fun little game here on Freddie and Harry, ESPN Radio, ESPN app. Freddie and Harry presented by Progressive Insurance. Time for a little good take, hot take. Shannon taking us around some of the hottest takes around football.
You know what? Before we get started with the first good take, hot take, I want to applaud us again. I want to applaud this show. You know what we're able to do? Over 2 hours into the show so far, here on a Thursday, during the preseason of the NFL season. We haven't discussed the Cowboys not one time yet.
Oh, man. Isn't God good?
But that all ends right now. Good take, hot take. Amber Ian last night on the very own Amber Ian, which follows us. Her thoughts on Micah Parsons and the attention he's receiving during this contract negotiations.
He is getting paid right now. Everybody's acting like the Cowboys are doing Micah so wrong. And I don't like how the Cowboys do business, but I will say I also don't ever end up feeling particularly bad for the player because all of these guys end up getting paid. And they're also being paid while we're talking about them getting paid. So they end up being okay. And Micah in particular will end up being okay because you keep mentioning his podcast. He's cut a little bit from that same cloth that Jerry Jones is, where he likes the attention too.
All right, Harry. Micah Parsons not minding all the attention he's getting. A good take or hot take from one Amber Wilson?
No, that's a good take. I'm pretty sure Michael Parsons doesn't mind the attention, but at the same time, that is also the lawyer coming out in Amber Wilson. I never really ever understood why so many people want to lean on the side of billionaires who doesn't give a damn about them. Like, they're billionaires. Do y'all think Jerry Jones truly, dearly cares about any of you? Guess who does? Players do. Players care about you. Players are going to go over there and kiss those babies. They're going to go to appearances so you can see them, so you can shake their hand. They're going to sign your football. You think Jerry Jones, the billionaire, the greatest car salesman who can sell water to a well, that he actually cares about fans? Jerry Jones is a businessman. So people, once and for all, I hope this is the last time I have to tell you, stop taking the sides of owners, billionaires. It always bothered me that people get mad at players. Oh, why is he holding out? He needs to honor his contract. Well, tell that to the owners when they cut someone who is still under contract. Hold them to the same standard that you like to hold players to. I'm done with my rant.
As far as this Amber take goes, it's a good take because I do think that Micah enjoys the attention a little bit. And look, he's going to be playing for the Dallas Cowboys. We all know how the saga is going to play out, right, Harry? This is going to play out 2 or 3 days before they play the Eagles to open up the season. Micah Parsons is going to be the highest paid non-quarterback in football. That's how this whole thing is going to end.
It would not surprise me, right? Because, that week of the Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles, who play the first game of the 2025 season on Thursday night, everyone wants to talk about the Philadelphia Eagles. Mm-hmm. And can they repeat as champions? And can we talk about them in the light that we talked about the Kansas City Chiefs this season, if they are able to repeat? And can they become the first team since the 1970 merger to three-peat? But guess what can stop all of that talk that people want to have on every single network?
Monster
Jerry
contract.
Jones signing Micah Parsons the Monday, the Tuesday, the Wednesday, or the Thursday before kickoff even happens. Because, see, that eliminates all that kind of talk. Mm-hmm. Because all people are going to talk about, Jerry Jones finally did it. He pulled the trigger. What happened? What bridged the gap between the player and the owner that got this deal done? Because I remember him saying last year in a press conference, well, you also know we got to pay Micah.
It's pretty good. It's a pretty good Jerry. I think it's a pretty good Jerry. The way you like dragged out and somehow put like an extra half syllable in Micah. Yeah, just absolutely nailed it.
We got to pay Micah.
What do we got next? Good take, hot take.
Next up, you had Jacksonville Jaguars owner not too long ago, Liam Cohen, saying that about Travis Hunter playing both sides of the ball and his success level, playing there in Jacksonville in Duval?
Duval.
Thank you very much, Coach. All right, Devontae Adams, Rams wide receiver, was on the Pivot podcast, and he was asked about Travis Hunter's ability to play both ways in the NFL.
I don't even think it's possible to do for real, not at a high level, and then go in there. It's hard enough to go cover a punt and then be on, one side, and I haven't done it. I'm not acting like I'm on kickoff or punt, but I can see the dudes, and I know, you got your guys, and you see the yardage of my yardage over the game versus somebody that starts on offense and then plays special teams as well. Like, that's just a lot of mileage, man. And I don't know how long. I'm not even concerned so much if he can do it over the course of a game or a season. It's more like, how long is his career going to be if he's playing that many snaps? Because all you're doing is doubling your risk for injury, one. Right. And I don't wish any of that on him. I hope that he can play an injury-free season and go ball out. But, it's just the reality. The more you're on the field, it's already 100% injury guarantee. Yeah. Once you get out there playing both sides, and now you got to tackle. Yep. You got to tackle Derrick Henry.
All right, Harry. Devontae Adams doubting that Hunter his ability to play both ways because of the injury factor. Good take, hot take.
So this is a good take and a hot take, and I'm going to say good take first of all because Devontae Adams understands, number one, what it takes to play wide receiver at a high level in the NFL. He's been one of the top ones for the last few years. But also the strain on your body to do it both ways and the physicality that comes with that. especially on the defensive end. Now, I would tell Travis Hunter when it comes to tackling guys like Derrick Henry, just do what every other person does in the secondary. Take mysterious angles and make that business decision. And damn it, don't do it. Live to play another down. Guys that have in truth. I remember I had an in cut one time. Run up 15, 16 yards, break in. But I knew with the coverage, when it was quarters, that means a safety sitting about 12 to 14 yards deep, sitting right there where I'm supposed to run that in cut. I know from the coverage that football should not be coming. I made a business decision. And when I got to that sideline, my receiver coach told me, hey, son, I wouldn't have liked if you would have batted it down, but I understand what you did there. You lived to play another down.
Yeah, this is a good take from Davante Adams because, he knows what it takes to play wide receiver at the highest level in the NFL and the energy that it requires to do that. So I think that's a good take from Davante Adams. Now, am I curious? I'm still rooting for Travis Hunter. If he's going to do it, I want to see him do it. I am intrigued to see if he can. But when you got guys like Davante saying this, I think you got to listen.
But that's the hot take part for me because I'm intrigued by this for 2025. This is one of the things on my list that I actually want to see. I want to see Travis Hunter be able to do this because if he does do it at a high level for multiple years, could you imagine the payday and the barriers that he would break in that capacity? Because you have two players in one. So that's the way you will pay me as well.
Just a freak athlete if he can pull it off for multiple years.
All right, last and certainly not least, let's go to college football. Of course, one of the biggest stories this college football year is going to be Bill Belichick at North Carolina. Well, Heather Dinich, our ESPN college football senior writer, was on Get Up and explained why UNC will be the biggest mystery of this season.
North Carolina is the biggest mystery in college football. Even Bill Belichick doesn't know what he has. His players haven't really put on the pads yet, particularly on the offensive and defensive lines. These guys have to go against each other and hit each other. This is an unheralded roster full of transfers, unproven playmakers at different positions all over the field, and an entirely new defense. The biggest thing they have going for them is a manageable schedule. It's winnable. It's about 70th in the country in terms of difficulty. They don't leave the state more than 3 times.
All right, Harry, UNC being the biggest mystery of this college football season. Good take or hot take?
So I'm going to go hot take. I think one of the biggest mysteries right now is what Arch Manning is going to look like as the starting quarterback for the Texas Longhorns. That's a huge mystery. Another mystery? Can Alabama football return to the college football playoffs so Kalen DeBoer can keep his job? That's another mystery. So I think there are other things I believe that are ahead of Bill Belichick in the North Carolina Tar Heels, but he's definitely a mystery. I just don't think it's the biggest one. So I'm going to go with hot take.
I'm going hot take here, but is it really a mystery? Bill Belichick is one of the brightest football minds ever. Like one of the greatest coaches in NFL history. You're telling me at this point, after going through spring, after going through some workouts, maybe they haven't done a ton of padded practices yet. You're telling me Bill Belichick has no idea what he has? If Bill Belichick has no idea what he has, that means they don't have anything, and then that's not a mystery. That's mystery solved. We know what North Carolina is going to be. So that's why I'm going hot take here, because if Bill Belichick goes, I don't know what I have. Well, that's because you don't have much, Bill. That would be my guess of why you would be flummoxed by that. He's Harry Douglas. I'm Gabe Neitzel in for Freddie Coleman. And coming up next, what can Anthony Richardson do specifically to prove that he deserves to be the Colts quarterback one over Daniel Jones? That after Harry has this word from La Quinta.
So when you're on a business trip, you know what goes completely off the rails? Your workout routine. Especially when you book a hotel that doesn't have a gym. Then you have to squeeze in between the desks and your bed, eke out 2 push-ups, and call it a day. Bummer. If you just stay at La Quinta by Wyndham, you'll discover there's a fully equipped fitness center at every single location. Now you can wake up and do some weightlifting to prepare your own self to carry your team on your back all day long. No problem with that carrying. Tonight, La Quinta, tomorrow, you better shine. Book direct at LQ.com.
The NFL on ESPN Radio.
My biggest wildcard team heading into 2025 is the Denver Broncos.
Camp to camp, team to team. 28 days until opening night.
Get the show going, man.
The countdown continues on ESPN Radio.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/joy to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments, including pills, chews, and more. 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy, hims.com/joy.
Friday nights in August, it's Farmer City Raceway with their full show plus kids mods brought to you by Nutrient. Adults are $15, veterans $10, kids 12 and under are free. Hot laps around the quarter-mile dirt track start at 6:30. Head to 850 Grove Street in Farmer City before the final Friday, August 29th, with $5,000 to win for the Mars late models during the Chuck Wagon Food Service Richardson Memorial Modifieds and Pro Late Model Racing. You'll buy the whole seat, but you'll only need the edge.
Kelsey Furniture in downtown Tuscola sells Tempur-Pedic beds. What's it like?
I'm going to tell you right now, Stevie, that thing is the best thing I've ever slept on in my life. My wife and I both have said we've never had better night's sleep. And the people at Kelsey's were fantastic. Brian is the guy that helped us. You know, as much as I did my research, he has a world of knowledge about beds themselves. Oh, man, it's like sleeping on a cloud, man.
Kelsey Furniture, downtown Tuscola.
Back to school means back to Jets. Right now, get a build-your-own large 2-topping pizza for just $14.99 with code JETS101. Choose your crust, Detroit style, hand-tossed, or thin, and make it yours with bold flavors like turbo, butter, garlic, or Cajun. Perfect for feeding hungry kindergartners all the way to worn-out grad students. For a limited time, get your large 2-topping pizza for $14.99 now at jetspizza.com with code JETS101. It's not just pizza, it's Jets Pizza.
All right, it's Tim Onstadt. What about Gale Ferrex Trucking? What do I need to know?
We're busy. There is kind of an alarming trend in the trucking industry right now with freight rates being a little bit depressed, but our drivers are still doing good. That we have insurance for that with their $1,200 gross minimum weekly guarantee, so we make it put the pressure back on us to make your living. I've got one spot open for a driver, maybe one opening up with a retirement here in about a month and a half, but I'm ready for somebody. If you want to get on the list or want to make plans a month and a half out, definitely give me a holler and come and see me. Phone number is 765-793-7131, and then hit 4 with the auto attendant to get directly to my office.
And that's Gale Ferrex Trucking, home on weekends, $1,200 minimum a week. You can make some money if you're hungry. You can go out and make some money. Tim, we're rooting for you, buddy. We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
See you later.
Talk to you soon. Tim Onstadt, Gale Ferrex Trucking dedicated diesel pitmaster extraordinaire.
Need assistance with door and window projects? The Home Depot can help. From inspiration and materials to ordering and installation, our free Millwork virtual apron service can get you moving and doing. Plus, we speak Spanish too. Our associates can help you tackle complex jobs without you leaving the job site, saving you time and money. Call us at 1-833-HD-APRON or visit homedepot.com/MBA. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
GNC knows that you're not always feeling it at the gym, but don't get down, get lit, and get more out of every workout. Beyond Raw Lit is a clinically dosed pre-workout that flips the switch and gives you more energy, focus, intensity, and pumps. The perfect combo for a killer workout. Plus, it's got incredible flavors and thousands of 5-star reviews, so you know it's good. Pick it up at GNC stores or go to GNC.com.
Good morning, Doctor. Doctor? Hi, Doctor.
Dr. Jackson's practice is growing.
What do you mean we're still short-staffed?
He needs a good patient doctor.
How do we not have enough doctors to doctor all these patients?
And he doesn't have the patience to sift through hundreds of resumes.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Rams quarterback Matthew Stafford, perhaps edging closer to his first practice of the summer. He'll go through a workout Saturday, is expected to return to practice Monday. Stafford hasn't practiced yet because of a back injury. Chargers star left tackle Rashawn Slater carted off the field today with a left leg injury. No word yet on the severity. LA cannot afford to be without Slater for any extended period of time, explains our Harry Douglas.
Number one, Jim Harbaugh is the head coach. He wants to own the line of scrimmage. He wants those big guys up front to maul people, move them from point A to point B against their will. They also want to run the football. But also, when you look at Rashawn Slater, he protects the blind side of Justin Herbert. So when you have your left tackle who protects the blind side for Justin Herbert, you pray and you hope it's not catastrophic.
Jaguars rookie Travis Hunter will make his two-way debut in the preseason opener against the Steelers on Saturday night. He'll be playing both receiver and corner. Steelers All-Pro defensive tackle Cam Hayward hasn't fully taken part in practice this summer yet, as he awaits a restructured contract that hasn't gotten done.
Your summer drink is here. Twisted Tea is a smooth, refreshing, hard iced tea with 5% alcohol, making it the perfect drink to take any day this summer to the next level. Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
This is Freddie and Harry on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app.
Freddie and Harry, ESPN Radio, ESPN app, Sirius XM, Channel 80. Freddie and Harry presented by Progressive Insurance, along with Harry Douglas. I'm Gabe Nigel, in for Freddie Coleman on the show today. And when it comes to NFL preseason games, look, sometimes maybe your favorite team might not be playing starters or just going to play them for a series or two throughout the preseason, but there are a handful of teams where these preseason games are going to matter as they try to make some decisions at very key spots. And the Indianapolis Colts, Harry, they're one of those teams. This is a big year for Anthony Richardson as he tries to develop into the guy they thought he was when they took him in the first round a couple of seasons ago. He's had some bumps in the road, certainly. But what can Anthony Richardson start to do to prove that he deserves to be quarterback one this year? Because they did bring in an insurance policy in Daniel Jones.
It's all about making the routine plays consistently for Anthony Richardson. And I'm going to bring up 3 ball games that they had last year for the Indianapolis Colts. Now, this is a team that went 8-9, but just think about these 3 games. The first game versus the Houston Texans, first game of the year. You have a 4th and 1 at Houston's 46-yard line. It's the quick game. It's a hitch route. So the receiver's going to go up about 5 or 6 yards, and he's going to stop. It's versus press coverage. Anthony Richardson, that's the quick game. So you should not be holding that football while that receiver is breaking down and cutting his route off. When that receiver breaks down and comes out of that route, the ball should already be in the air. So number 1, he's late with the football. But then number 2, he throws the ball 100 miles per hour, and it goes over the receiver's head. So the coach had the kahunas to go for it on 4th down. They don't convert. They get off the football field. In that same game, before halftime, they're at Houston's 20-yard line, and it's a bad throw, and it gets intercepted. They lose the ball game 29-27. Now let's go to the second game of the year versus the Green Bay Packers. They have the football at Green Bay's 40-yard line. You have an overthrow. It's an interception. They have the ball at Green Bay's 40-yard line again, and it's an interception. He tries to throw it to a seam route down the seam of the football field, and he had a wide-open 5-yard go up and break in under route that's standing there wide open for him to throw the football to. So he forced it. That's 2 interceptions when you're plus 50 in the opponent's territory. That's 2 games. They lost that ball game 16-10. Now let's go to the second game versus the Houston Texans, Gabe. Before halftime, you're backed up. You throw an interception, and it leads to a touchdown for the Houston Texans and their offense right before halftime. Guess what the score was of that ball game? 23-20. That's 3 games that I just mentioned right now. They could have had 11 wins. 11 wins would have got the Indianapolis Colts into the playoffs. So it's about the accuracy. It's about making the routine plays consistently. But also, thirdly, as a quarterback and me being a former wide receiver, it's about knowing how to put touch on the football. Every throw doesn't have to be 120 miles per hour. If you have a guy on the shallow route that's running across the field that's 4 or 5 yards from you, I don't need you to throw it so hard that it ricochets off my helmet, and next thing you know, it bounces off my helmet, and it's an interception. I need you to put some touch on that throw. Make your ball quarterback friendly, or wide receiver friendly, I would say. So those are the things that I'm looking for when it comes to Anthony Richardson. Can he make the routine plays consistently? Can you be accurate with the football? Can you not turn it over, especially when you're in plus territory and taking points off of the board for your respected team? But also, can you have some touch on your throws as well?
For Anthony Richardson, he played 11 games last year. In 8 of those 11 games, his completion percentage was 50% or lower. 50% or lower in 8 of the 11 games. So when you want to talk about the consistency and doing the little things, that's how you drive up those numbers and get them to an acceptable level. He is somebody that clearly, when he was drafted out of Florida, he needed time to develop. And I don't know what their plan was necessarily. They threw him into the fire right away, ended up suffering an injury. But there was so much excitement at this time a year ago because of what he did in those 4 games. And it kind of went downhill quick last year. I mentioned the 8 out of 11 games. There was the game he asked out and tapped out. Tapped the helmet, had to come out because he was tired. I mean, those are things that are tough to overcome. And to gain the trust of your teammates back, you have to start playing with a little bit more consistency. And that's where it lies. You have to have a better plan for him this year because you've got the weapons. I mean, Jonathan Taylor's a really good running back. Alex Pierce, Michael Pittman Jr. are good wide receivers. You drafted Adonai Mitchell last year. Tyler Warren was your first-round pick this year. There are a lot of weapons and guys that can do damage with the ball in their hands. The question is, can you get the ball into their hands if you're Anthony Richardson? Because I don't see the excuses of, well, he doesn't have any weapons. There's no one to throw the football to, no one to help him out in the running game. He's got everything you could ask for. It's just a matter of, can he develop and do the little nuanced things that you were just talking about?
That's the funny thing, because when you look at the Colts as a football team, y'all, trust me when I say this, they are excellent quarterback play away from being a team that's in a lot of discussions, in my opinion. When you look at the additions that they made on the defensive end, when you look at all the players that they have on offense, yes, Gabe, they have pieces. But if your quarterback is not protecting the football, if he's not consistent, if he's not making the routine plays, it's going to be hard for the Colts to win. That's why you see a Pat McAfee last season who isn't normally very critical of players. Was very critical, number one, of this football team, and especially the quarterback at the quarterback position. And it was all warranted, in my opinion. So if you get an Anthony Richardson who's only 23 years old, and he just turned 23 in May, y'all. You talk about a quarterback that's 6'4", 6'5", 250 pounds. He has all the intangibles. He has the athleticism. But it's more to your athleticism than when it comes to playing quarterback in the NFL. So figure out if you can get this thing together, because I want him to be the starting quarterback for the Colts. Now, yes. for the second guy, Daniel Jones, who they paid money to be a valuable backup, and they just didn't pay him money to be a backup. The best thing they could have done for Anthony Richardson is bring in someone to push him. And that's why you got Daniel Jones. But if Anthony Richardson can't get his act together, then you got to put Daniel Jones into the game. Now, what I want to see from him, can you operate the offense? Can you move the football? Can you also take care of the ball? And last but not least, Daniel Jones did not have extreme confidence when he left the Giants organization last season. But he was able to be a backup for the for the Minnesota Vikings under Kevin O'Connell. Boost the confidence up a little bit more. Can you show me that you have that confidence as you go into the game for the Colts?
Stephen Holder, ESPN Colts reporter, was on Clinton and Friends. He discussed the quarterback battle going on this training camp with the Colts.
Anthony Richardson, certainly not an efficient player. Has never been that. But he is certainly a player who can make winning plays, the big plays that do change games. So you're balancing that versus Daniel Jones, who is someone who maybe is a little more predictable, probably a lot more predictable, going to complete more passes, but will he have the explosiveness? Will he bring that to your offense? That is less so with him. So you're really talking about two different types of players. Now, the one thing they do have in common is both can use their legs. Now, Anthony Richardson is a different breed of athlete than Daniel Jones, but let's not sell Daniel Jones short. He definitely can move around and can throw on the run and is a weapon with his legs as well.
I think this is still Anthony Richardson's job to lose because of all those things we just heard there. The explosive plays. He's the younger player. He's the guy that the team drafted. But at the same time, if he can't make those little routine plays that you were talking about, Harry, the team's going to be clamoring for somebody like Daniel Jones. The team's going to be like, hey, we'll just get the ball in our playmakers' hands. We'll let some of the speed take over, and we'll take it from there. We're not going to ask Daniel Jones to be Superman, to make these big plays. We're going to have to go out and do things once the ball is in our hands. So that's the type of pressure that's on Anthony Richardson. Because this roster, that offense, again, average quarterback play
on paper
makes them dangerous.
It looks good, Gabe. And I would say this for Daniel Jones, he's trying to resurrect his career. He's trying to do what he's seen Baker Mayfield do for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, what Sam Darnold did last year for the Minnesota Vikings, what Geno Smith did for the Seattle Seahawks. Now Geno's in Las Vegas with the Raiders. That's what Daniel Jones is trying to do. He feels like New York, they gave up on me. But guess what, Daniel Jones? New York gave you every opportunity. They may not have made the situation perfect for you, but you had the opportunities. Now he's trying to resurrect things like the other three quarterbacks that I just mentioned and trying to secure his spot for the Colts past this season.
Yeah, but Daniel Jones being there, that pressure is just going to continue to ratchet up on Anthony Richardson as he tries to take that next step in his career. But certainly a team, it's going to be in action tonight. It's worth keeping an eye on throughout the course of spring of training camp because of that quarterback battle. We've still got NFL two-a-days coming up. We dive into the Saints, who should be under center to start the season. It's Freddie and Harry, ESPN Radio, and the ESPN app.
This weekend on ESPN Radio.
Kyle Tucker adds an exclamation mark.
Heated rivals go head-to-head in St. Louis when the Cardinals face the Chicago Cubs.
Diving play, holy cow.
Coverage begins Saturday at 6:30 Eastern and Sunday at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app. Presented by Progressive Insurance.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/play. That's ethos.com/play.
The success you've already had matters at University of Maryland Global Campus because we're a school for real life. An accredited state university, UMGC lets you earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's for prior learning and relevant life and work experience, or transfer up to 12 credits toward a master's. We offer affordable tuition and online and hybrid courses. Classes start August 13th. Apply now and save with no application fee. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Want unbeatable prices on your next furniture purchase, but also seeking that local hometown feel? Look no further than Kelsey Furniture in Tuscola. Customers rave about their friendly, established staff, as well as their great selection, amazing prices, and second-to-none delivery service. They're a third-generation local business, and they've always got your best interests at heart. Find the look you love for less. Open 9 to 5 Monday through Saturday, but always available online at kelseyfurniture.com. That's kelseyfurniture.com.
At ABC Heating and Air, it's our promise to help you always be comfortable. Do you need rescued because you're burning hot? Do you need rescued because your air is shot? Call ABC Heating and Air at 352-5400 and let us rescue you from the heat. ABC Heating and Air, 352-5400. Can't you see you need to call me at ABC? Call ABC Heating and Air. That's ABC Heating and Air, 352-5400.
Friday nights in August, it's Farmer City Raceway with their full show plus kids mods brought to you by Nutrien. Adults are $15, veterans $10, kids 12 and under are free. Hot laps around the quarter-mile dirt track start at 6:30. Head to 850 Grove Street in Farmer City before the final Friday, August 29th, with $5,000 to win for the Mars Late Models during the Chuck Wagon Food Service Richardson Memorial Modifieds and Pro Late Model Racing. You'll buy the whole seat, but you'll only need the edge.
At Dick Van Dyke Appliance World Command Center.
Paul, we have extreme heat warning. Summer 2025 is a hot one in Champaign-Urbana.
That's trouble for garage refrigerators.
One just went down in Rantoul. They need delivery right away, Paul.
Put them on for tomorrow. What's going on down here in Fisher?
It's a window air conditioner going out.
Can't have that. Good thing we deliver and install window ACs. We have plenty in stock.
Garage freezer NB man. Customer wants a technician out right away. She's afraid her beef is thawing.
Hate it when that happens. We have a tech in the area. Send Nate right over.
Copy that.
Team, it's like we talk about. At Dick Van Dyke Appliance World, we know what hot weather can do to home appliances. More importantly, we're always ready for the heat with fast, friendly repair service and delivery, plus the largest selection of appliances in Champaign-Urbana.
Paul, customer in Muhammad, needs a portable dehumidifier ASAP. Says his tools are rusting out from the humidity.
That can happen. We have dehumidifiers for pickup or fast delivery. Remember, at Dick Van Dyke Appliance World, you get the whole store.
Wow!
When you buy from us, you get the whole store.
Every Saturday morning, ACC Huddle is coming to you live from the marquee matchup of the week.
In town for just one night. I'm trying to get down.
Join the Huddle team as they count down to kickoff with in-depth analysis, exclusive interviews, and everything you need to know about ACC football.
This guy is elite. He's going to be a valuable asset to an NFL team.
ACC Huddle, Saturdays from 10 a.m. to noon Eastern on ACC Network and streaming live on the ESPN app.
Amber and Ian.
Buffalo is loaded. It's just that one dude. And it's not just Josh Allen dealing with it. It's Lamar Jackson that's dealing with it. It's Joe Burrow that's dealing with it. 15 and the Kansas City Chiefs are still going to be a problem, maybe more so this year than they were even last year.
That's the thing that's frustrating, I think, if you're Buffalo, is the fact that we're even talking about Kansas City. It all comes back to it. It always goes back to it.
Amber and Ian. Weeknights at 7 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on Sirius XM Channel 80. Coming September 2nd to ESPN Radio, The Rich Eisen Show.
The Kansas City Chiefs are coming back this year, even better than last year's Super Bowl.
The Rich Eisen Show.
They're going to get calls that everybody thinks that Roger Goodell is mandating that the Chiefs advance because Taylor Swift is dating Travis Kelce.
Dynasty is over.
The dynasty is not over.
Rich Eisen returns September 2nd to ESPN Radio, ESPN Plus, and on Disney Plus.
We live for the NWSL on ESPN. Backs for Sister to Sister and Backflip Tricksters. For Double B, the return of CP and the GOAT. For fandom so fierce you can feel it because the bar is high and the stakes are higher. And we are here for it, all of it, all the time. If you are too, you know where to find us. The NWSL on ESPN. Backs.
This weekend on ESPN Radio.
Gone! Kyle Tucker adds an exclamation mark.
Heated rivals go head-to-head in St. Louis when the Cardinals face the Chicago Cubs.
Diving play, gets him, throw to first, and he got him. What a play!
The Cubs at the Cardinals. Coverage begins Saturday at 6:30 Eastern and Sunday at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app. Presented by Progressive Insurance. This is Freddie and Harry on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app.
He's Harry Douglas. I'm Gabe Nightshole in for Freddie Coleman on Freddie and Harry, ESPN Radio, ESPN app, Sirius XM Channel 80. Also check us out on TuneIn. I think this is one of the tougher teams to do this for. It is time for ESPN Radio NFL Two-A-Days, the Saints version.
This is ESPN Radio's NFL Two-A-Days. The New Orleans Saints.
I'm Katherine Terrell, covering the New Orleans Saints. The Saints quarterback race is in full swing, and so far, there are no winners yet. Rookie quarterback Tyler Shuck, second-year quarterback Spencer Rattler, and third-year quarterback Jake Haener have all tried to make their case as to why they should start in September. But this appears to be a two-man race between Rattler and Shuck. Rattler looked like he was the early leader at the beginning of camp, but Shuck had one of his best practices last Sunday when the Saints held a marathon 126-play scrimmage. This week will be pivotal for all three quarterbacks. The Saints will practice in California for 9 days, and they'll have their first preseason game against the Chargers. That game could go a long way to determining who wins the job next month.
That's where the questions start with the New Orleans Saints. ESPN Radio NFL Two-A-Days. Who should be starting under center when their season opens in about a month?
I'm going to go with the rookie Tyler Shuck from where? Louisville. Shout out to Tom Jackson. And here's why I believe that. When you look at this football team, I'm trying my best to be as positive as possible, but I'm struggling. Trust me, I'm really struggling. Sorry, Mardi Gras Bob. I know you love your Saints, but I am really having a hard time. I do not see New Orleans being a good football team. And the reason why I'm saying that you need to start the rookie quarterback, and I'm a person who is now of the belief you just don't thrust rookie quarterbacks out there, but there's a reason behind it. Not believing that they're going to have a good season. I do believe they're going to have a high draft pick. And before you pick a quarterback in 2026, that NFL draft, you might want to see what the guy can do that you drafted this year. So if he goes out there and he plays well, or he shows extreme promise to be the quarterback of the future next season, then you don't have to waste that first-round pick, which probably is going to be very early in the draft, on a quarterback. And if you want to trade out of that pick and gain more collateral from a draft perspective, you can actually do that if you're the New Orleans Saints.
Yeah, I think you want to throw him into the fire right away. I'm with you. Rest, quarterbacks, sit them when you first draft them, kind of slowly develop them. I think that's different when your quarterback's 25. He's going to be turning 26 in the first month of the season. He's a little bit older. You need to have that answer now. And again, this is one of the teams in the NFL that hasn't figured out how to be able to manipulate the salary cap. So the roster suffers for it. It's not a very good roster. It's not going to be a very good team. But if you can find out if this kid has something, now you can use that first round pick, which is going to be high next year, to get a pass rusher, maybe help and get another weapon if you like your quarterback. They spent their first round this year on an offensive lineman. You can use that draft capital elsewhere as you try to build up, but you have to leave this season not having a definitive answer, because I think that's going to be tough to do after one season, but having an idea of what you have in Tyler Shuck. I think that's the minimum of what you're expecting for the New Orleans Saints. What is a reason for optimism? This is probably the hardest question. What is a reason for optimism for the New Orleans Saints?
I'm going to say guys on the defensive side of the ball. When I look at a veteran like Cam Jordan, who's been consistent in this league, Devon Godchaux, can he show up for them? Brian Bresee, a guy who played at Clemson University, he was a part of that ferocious defensive line that they had. Carl Grandison, and also Chase Young. If those guys can really get after the quarterback and protect the offensive side of the ball while you're trying to figure out this young quarterback thing, I think New Orleans, I can't say they're going to be okay, but they give themselves some kind of chance.
Seems like were you asking a question there? Your voice went up at the end.
Because I'm not sure.
I think they have a chance.
I'm not sure.
I don't know what to be optimistic about for this team. I wish I had something. I really did. But I look at this roster. I mean, Olave, I like Chris Olave. He can be fun to watch. If Tyler Shuck can get the ball in his hands a couple of times a game, I think that's exciting. I mean, Alvin Kamara used to be exciting. He's on the wrong side of 30 as an undersized running back. I don't have a ton of optimism there. They bring back Brandon Cooks, who seemingly has played for a different team each of the last 5 or 6 years. There's not a lot on the offensive side of the football right now to be that excited about. But if I had to be excited about one thing, I think it's Chris Olave.
Well, see, that will be my reason for concern, because we know about the concussion issues with Chris Olave. Rashid Shaheed, he's a guy who went out with an injury last season. And, early on, he was catching deep ball and making big play and being explosive time and time again. But he went out with injury as well. So I would say the injury bug from their pass catchers is a reason for concern.
Yeah, my number one concern is for this team, there's just too many questions. I don't think there's an answer for just about any question you have for this team. It's position battles up there. You don't know what you have at quarterback. It's an aging roster. The biggest reason for concern is most teams are going to have questions heading into training camp, obviously. But you're hoping to develop some of those answers. You already have positions where you don't have questions. Oh, we know we're going to be really good here. We know we're really going to be really good there. For the Saints, it's nothing but questions. And that's the reason for concern. It's nothing but questions on this roster. Do you have a bold prediction for the New Orleans Saints?
I have two of those.
Okay.
Number one, they will be picking top 5 in the 2026 NFL Draft, and they will lose both games to the Atlanta Falcons, their biggest rival.
I mean, it feels like the last one's piling on. Is what the last one really feels like.
Comes the gunslinger, Michael Penix Jr., baby. Here he comes.
My bold prediction, I'll go past your top 5. I think this is going to be the team picking number 1 next April in the draft. I really do. I take a look at this team in this. Yeah, I take a look at this team and again, sorry to Mardi Gras Bob. Sorry to New Orleans Saints fans. I know they love this team. They love this team dearly. I just don't see a lot of good things going their way, even though the division that they play in shouldn't be too tough. It's not one of the tougher divisions in football, but I just see this team continuing to struggle. It is Freddie and Harry on ESPN Radio. What must Ashton Jeanty produce next year to be a game changer? It's ESPN Radio.
Progressive presents Employee of the Month. Small Business Edition. Today's recipient from Michaela's Mobile Spa, Michaela! Michaela got a quick business insurance quote from Progressive and chose from over 30 customizable coverages. Sure, it helps she's her only employee and does literally everything, but while others would rest on their laurels, Michaela was hard at work saving big. So take that, hypothetical other employee who doesn't exist. Be your own Michaela. See if you could save in as little as 7 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Coverage is not available in all states or for all vehicles and coverage selections.
With Robinhood, not only can you trade individual stocks and ETFs, you can also seamlessly buy and sell crypto at low costs. Trade all in one place. Get started now on Robinhood. Trading crypto involves significant risk. Crypto trading is offered through an account with Robinhood Crypto LLC. Robinhood Crypto is licensed to engage in virtual currency business activity by the New York State Department of Financial Services. Crypto held through Robinhood Crypto is not FDIC insured or SIPC protected. Investing involves risk, including loss of principal. Securities trading is offered through an account with Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC, a registered broker-dealer.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
If you had to bet right now, worst to first this year in their division, who would it be?
The Titans. A lot of people are very impressed with Cam Ward.
As am I, but over the Texans? Texans might have the best defense in the league.
I don't foresee it, but if we had to pick a team, that's where I'm going.
I'm not mad at that at all.
Unsportsmanlike. Weekday morning starting at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN2.
Stream the FedEx Cup playoffs on ESPN+. The PGA Tour's top players chasing the top prize. Scotty Scheffler.
Everybody on tour wants to win the FedEx Cup.
Rory McIlroy.
I've driven away from East Lake quite a few times with a smile on my face.
Justin Thomas.
It's the FedEx Cup playoffs.
Stream more moments and more minutes of the FedEx Cup playoffs from August 7th to the 24th. Live on ESPN+. Sign up at plus.espn.com/golf.
And ESPN Radio Extra Point with Michelle Smallman.
Micah is a football player. I think ultimately Micah wants to be in Dallas. I know that the disrespect has been very loud from Jerry Jones in a multitude of ways, but this is a guy who grew up a Dallas Cowboys fan. This is a guy who was thrilled that he ended up there on draft night. This is a guy who repeatedly, prior to this latest development, has wanted to be there. Mm-hmm. And also, guys, I listen a lot when Chris Canty talks. He always talks about life after football when you're a member of the Dallas Cowboys and what being a part of that organization, a legacy star player in that organization, can do for you. I also think a lot of these guys are afraid to leave Dallas. Imagine you leave Dallas and then they win. that's not something that you want to miss or that you don't want to be a part of. Because the carrot of winning there is so great that you don't want to walk away from that.
With Robinhood, not only can you trade individual stocks and ETFs, you can also seamlessly buy and sell crypto at low costs. Trade all in one place. Get started now on Robinhood. Trading crypto involves significant risk. Crypto trading is offered through an account with Robinhood Crypto LLC. Robinhood Crypto is licensed to engage in virtual currency business activity by the New York State Department of Financial Services. Crypto held through Robinhood Crypto is not FDIC insured or SIPC protected. Investing involves risk, including loss of principal. Securities trading is offered through an account with Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC, a registered broker-dealer.
Need assistance with door and window projects? The Home Depot can help. From inspiration and materials to ordering and installation, our free Millwork virtual apron service can get you moving and doing. Plus, we speak Spanish too. Our associates can help you tackle complex jobs without you leaving the job site, saving you time and money. Call us at 1-833-8